Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Monday. We got 9 matchups on this NBA slate today, so go ahead and like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below, and go ahead and sign up with ParlayPlay, guys. Get $10 in risk-free entries when you guys sign up, and tons of free NBA tournaments pretty much every day, so go ahead and hop in there. And yeah, let's hop into it. 9 matches, starting with the Charlotte Hornets versus the Chicago Bulls. Bulls opening up as 6-point favorites with the over-under at 225. The last 10 head-to-head, both teams 5-5. Charlotte 6-4 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4. Charlotte 7-3 covering in their last 10 games. 6-3 covering against the Bulls here. Pretty good against the spread covering here, but just 2-4 in their last 6 against Chicago. Chicago hasn't looked good in their last couple games. 1-3 in their last 4. Could definitely play better here. Some better basketball. They are 13-4 covering as the favorite. Yeah, I like the Hornets here. Don't see any major injuries. Hornets have actually been playing pretty decent basketball here. I mean, 8-2 in their last 10. They've been able to cover against the Bulls. Yeah, we'll take the Hornets plus the points. Next matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves opening up as 4-point favorites with the over-under at 218. The last 10 head-to-head, Indiana 7-3, 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4. The last 10 matchups for Indiana, they're just 5-5 in their last 10. Minnesota 7-3 in their last 10. Playing actually some pretty good basketball here. Don't see any major injuries to report in this matchup. Yeah, two teams. I mean, Indiana's played really good in their last few games here, but Minnesota, man, they've actually been playing. They've been looking really nice on this little stretch that they're on, beating good teams like Philly, Miami. Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Minnesota Timberwolves here. Playing solid basketball here. Like the little run they're going on. Going to roll with the Timberwolves. Next matchup, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Houston Rockets. Houston opening up as 3-point favorites with the over-under at 213.5. The last 10 head-to-head, OKC 6-4. 7-3 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is just 4-6. OKC just 3-7 in their last 10. Houston 2-8 in their last 10. I mean, neither team playing good here. Houston was able to get a couple wins over Charlotte, Chicago. Pretty decent wins there. OKC 6-0 covering on the road right now. 5-2 covering against Houston. We know OKC's struggling here, but I mean, to really take any team in this matchup as the favorites, really don't want to do that whatsoever. We'll take the points with the Thunder. Next matchup, we have the Dallas Mavericks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Dallas opening up as 5-point favorites with the over-under at 207. The last 10 head-to-head, Dallas is 7-3, 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4. Cleveland just 4-6 in their last 10 games overall. Dallas 5-5 in their last 10. Dallas just 1-4 in their last 5. They've been struggling a good bit. But Cleveland, just 1-5 in their last 6. 0-6 against Dallas. 1-5 covering against Dallas here. I think it's a great spot for the Mavs. Don't see any major injuries for this matchup on either side here. I like the Mavs. Come off this little slump they're kind of on here against this Cavs team that is struggling. Yeah, we're going to roll with the Mavericks. Next matchup, we have the Washington Wizards versus the San Antonio Spurs. Wizards opening up as 3-point favorites with the over-under at 214.5. The last 10 head-to-head, San Antonio 8-2, 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 8-2. Washington 6-4 in their last 10. The Spurs just 3-7 in their last 10. They have not looked good at all here. Washington 8-4 in their last 12, 2-5 covering. That's been one of their downfalls. Another crazy stat, they're 0-20 on the road against the Spurs. Kind of a crazy stat, honestly. Both teams do have some question marks here. I mean, Spurs 20-0 at home against Washington. I mean, that's just an insane stat to really think, if you think about it like that. Spurs coming off a nice win over Boston here. And I'm going to roll with their home statistic. I mean, I know they've been bad here, but 20-0 at home, I mean, those numbers, that's just insane here. I like them to make it 21 here. Finally getting their groove back, maybe coming off a nice Boston win. Washington on a 2-game winning streak, but I'm going to take the Spurs plus the points at home where they're 20-0 against the Wizards. We're going to see if that can hold up. Next matchup, we have the Portland Trail Blazers versus the Utah Jazz. Jazz opening up as 7.5-point favorites with the over-under at 223. Jazz, the last 10 head-to-head, Jazz 6-4. 5-5 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is just 4-6. Portland 5-5 in their last 10. Utah 6-4 in their last 10. Portland just 3-8 on the road against Utah. 1-11 covering on the road. This is just not a good Portland team on the road. They have struggled big time. Utah 8-3 at home against Portland. 11-5 at home. Really good, really great home team, really bad road team here. Yeah, we're going to roll with the Jazz. Next matchup, we have the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers opening up as 9-point favorites with the over-under at 211.5. The last 10 head-to-head, pretty even, 5-5 on both sides. The Pelicans are 7-3 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4. The Pelicans 4-6 in their last 10. The Clippers 6-4 in their last 10. One of those was a loss against the Pelicans, where the Pelicans beat them 94-81. And we already saw the Pelicans beat the Jazz, in that first game of that back-to-back against Utah. No major injuries to report for this matchup here. I think 9 points is a lot of points here. We already saw the Pelicans team beat the Jazz as the underdog. They beat the Clippers early on, and they were, 4-point underdogs there. And, yeah, we'll take the Pelicans plus the points. I think this is lots of points, and I could definitely see them at least covering here. And, yeah, we'll take Pelicans plus the points. All right, next matchup, we have the Orlando Magic versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly opening up as 15.5-point favorites with the over-under at 207. The last 10 head-to-head matchups, Philly 6-4, 5-5 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 4-6. Orlando, just 1-9 in their last 10, not playing good right now. Philly 1-3 in their last 4. They're not playing that good either. Orlando 0-7 against Philly on the road here. 1-4 in their last 5 against Philly. They've definitely struggled against Philly. That's kind of an understatement here. 15.5 points, man. That's just a huge number. I'm taking the Magic plus the points. That's just so much to cover for a Philly team that's been struggling here. Hasn't really looked that good. I know Embiid's back, but they've been playing just as good / bad as the Magic have in their last 10, 15 games. Yeah, we'll take the Magic plus the points. That's just a lot. Then the last matchup, we have the Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat. The Heat opening up as 7.5-point favorites with the over-under at 202. The last 10 head-to-head, Denver 8-2, 7-3 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 5-5. Denver 4-6 in their last 10. Miami 6-4 in their last 10. Denver, they're struggling right now pretty big time. Currently on a 6-game losing streak. Jokic is questionable Monday. That's probably the biggest question mark for this game, if Jokic plays or not, which they're definitely going to need him. These teams did already play, and Denver did win that last meeting 113-96. Miami playing good basketball here. Denver, surprisingly enough, 6-1 covering against Miami, 6-1 in their last 7 against Miami. Pretty much this pick comes down to if Jokic plays. If Jokic plays, we're taking Denver plus the points. If Jokic is out, whenever that news does come out, probably won't be till later in the day, I would imagine. We're gonna roll with the Heat, and that's gonna be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Monday. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Have a good one.